This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
That's right. Look into my eyes. At any moment, roid rage could kick in here on Coffee, Country, and Cody. I am now officially on the prednisone.
You're not sleeping.
Listen, for those of you who've got RVS, what are the different things that are going around? Bronchitis.
Is it RVS or RSV?
RSV.
RSV. Okay.
Black lung, COVID, whatever you're suffering from. Only because I want to breathe am I taking all these pills.
Okay.
Because the last few days, it's been nearly impossible.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You
That's
know the feeling?
worst. I do.
Because you started this back at Thanksgiving.
I had it at Thanksgiving.
Yes,
and
you
it
did.
was
I'm just going
scary.
to move over to
Well,
here.
you got it too.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Everybody in the studio's had it.
This is ground zero right here. Yeah, there's a lot of germs.
But
Mistake up, be happy about that, I think.
But in true Grand Ole Opry history, Opry 100, the countdown tonight, we kick things off at Ryman Auditorium. I've got pills for that.
Here's some hand sanitizer. I'm just going to be over here
Back in
sanitizing.
the day, apparently, that's the way we rolled from Tootsie's Orchid Lounge in 42 steps to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, if you can survive something from Tootsie's, then everything else you're immune to everything else.
Roger Miller said once, he said, I think Vince is the one that shared this with me, said Roger told him, he said, don't ever get your pills and your loose change mixed up. I once took 16 cents. Isn't it great?
Wow.
I'm just thinking how one gets rid of the 16 cents.
Oh,
gosh, yes.
Oh, that's a lot.
Kelly Sutton is on the scene this morning with the top stories in entertainment. What you working on?
We've got a lot coming up. Parker McCollum and Miranda Lambert. I love this duo. I love their duet together. It's on Miranda's album. But the fun thing about it is Parker said she has become a close confidant, a mentor, and one of my good friends. I'll tell you what his litmus test for that was, because it's pretty strong. George Strait revealing his favorite song that he's recorded, and we found the video from 2016. And I was at this particular shoot. When I pulled it up, I went, oh, I remember being there. So I'm still looking for myself in the crowd.
Kelly Sutton was a buckle bunny.
Well, just for George. And Whataburger and Wrangler are teaming up.
Ooh, all right.
You can have your Whataburger and wear it too. I'll tell you all about it.
I can't wait to find out more.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Unbelievably, Elvis Presley has been gone a lot longer than he lived. He was gone at 42 years of age. He would be 90 on January 8th, and he is being remembered and his birthday celebrated. Elvis at 90. Give it some thought. Wow. Visualize what that would have looked like and perhaps what it would have sounded like. What would he be doing? Donna Presley is hosting it, and it's Monday, January the 6th, 7 o'clock. That's 3rd and Lindsley, and our special guests, Paul Leim and Terry Blackwood. Good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad
So,
to be here. Thank
the
you for
Imperials. Let's go ahead and start with your connection and how you came into Elvis's musical life, and then we'll talk about Paul and his involvement.
Well, in 1969, I was with the Imperials for 2 years, and Elvis had been listening to our music. He had listened to our New Dimensions album and our Imperials Now record.
And at his heart, always wanted to be a gospel singer.
Oh yeah, his first love was gospel music.
Yeah.
So one morning, Joe Mascao, our manager, went into the office early, ahead of the rest of us. He was there answering the messages and just getting this everything set up for us to get there. The phone rang, and it was Elvis calling. And Elvis said, Joe Mascao, he said, I've been listening to your music, your records. I love the sound of the group. Would you guys be interested in coming to Vegas for my grand opening in July of 1969? And Joe said, well, wait a minute, Elvis, let me ask the guys. So he turned around to the empty room and he got back on the phone and he said, Elvis, they all nodded yes. We'll be there.
I was going to say, how did he play off that no one answered?
So where was he opening in Vegas?
at the International
International.
Hotel.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
That's
that
what I
was the
remembered.
biggest venue in Vegas at the time. But it wasn't on the Strip; it was off the Strip.
And Charlie, as our Elvis aficionado, what do you remember about that?
Well, it was the most exciting time. I was just picking Terry's brain before we started in the green room this morning because he had just come off the singer special, the NBC, the comeback special, if you will.
The black leather special?
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
best shape of his life, motivated, had just gone to American Sound Studios in Memphis and recorded some of the best music of his career, things like Kentucky Rain, In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds, and these were all part of the set list. And he just, just movie star handsome, just knocked you out, right? I mean, this was
Best looking man I've ever seen.
yeah. If I could, I never got to see Elvis live, but if I could pick a time to go see him, it would have been those first gigs at the International because everything was fresh and new and exciting.
But there's something you don't know
Okay.
is Elvis was not really very confident that he was going to do well because he had been to Vegas 5 years earlier at the Fremont Hotel downtown and had bombed because the older people didn't like him. They thought he was not too controversial.
Almost like the Opry reaction. Yeah.
So when he came back live, he was not sure they were going to like him, and he was backstage just nervous as a cat, hoping that the people was going to really like his performance. He was backstage, and his fingers were shaking, and man, I hope they like me. I hope they like me. And of course, we assured him that they would.
Right.
The minute he walked on stage, every flash bulb in the house went off, and it was just from then on. It was a home run.
Oh, wow.
And back there on the drums with 2001: A Space Odyssey into CC Rider,
Yeah.
Paul Leim.
Oh, it's
Take us back in your history with Elvis.
oh, thank you. The excitement Charlie was talking about. It was the same excitement back then that they have now with the Sphere. That Vinny and the guys are doing. The Eagles are doing at the Sphere. It was that kind of excitement. And of course, Ronnie Tutt was the drummer with him then. Larry Mahobarak had put the band together because he was the musical director on the comeback special. So Larry Mahobarak put the band together, and of course got JB and James Burton and Ronnie
Jerry Schiff.
and Jerry Sheff.
John
And
Wilkerson was the rhythm guitar.
rhythm guitar, and it was just such a magical time. I mean, I was a club drummer in Dallas at the time, and our manager from Dallas immediately flew us out. I think we went to the second week that you guys opened out there, and then we got to be dear friends with Ronnie and Jerry in '71, and Ronnie's family and our family grew up together. So it was when Ronnie started having issues or scheduling issues or health issues, then it was kind of a natural transition for me to come in after all the things I've played on. And
What was your first session? Who was your first session?
first session? Oh, it was at Robin Hood Bryan Studio in Tyler, Texas, when I was 15 years old. It was a group called Brush Arbor, I think. It was a gospel group.
Boy, that's deep catalog memories there. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah, some kind of camp. It's called the campground. Some Brush Arbor campground, I think it was called. That was my first session when I was 15, and so here we are, 500 million records later. So,
And Elvis at 90. What would Elvis be doing at 90, guys?
At 90, I think he would be doing gospel music. I think his
Do you really?
His heart was there, and I think he'd still be a handsome man. I really do. You know, there's stories about when Reed walked in. Reed walks in the studio. You know the story.
He told me the
Reed,
story.
Yeah. Oh, did he? Did he? Yeah. Reed walks in. Well, you tell it. You do.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, you got it from the horse's mouth, man.
Well, he was going to record that song, wasn't it?
Guitar Man.
Guitar Man.
Guitar
Yeah.
Man. And
They couldn't, and they just couldn't get it right to suit
They couldn't get
Elvis.
it right,
They
so
found
they called. they
pulled him
called
off Old
Jerry.
Hickory Lake and got him in there because he's the only one.
He
that
was
could play
out
it.
fishing, by the way.
He was.
Yeah, and that guitar lick and
And he walked in the studio
Walked in
and
the
said
studio.
exactly what you said a moment ago.
that's
He
the
said,
prettiest man I ever saw. or-
Elvis, you're the prettiest man I've ever seen in my life.
He said, "I kind of wish I was a girl."
Yeah. You know, when I was rehearsing in '05, they asked me to start doing the big screen show. Graceland asked me to start doing the big screen show. Well, actually, Glenn D called me from Australia to do the big screen show in '99, and I was out with Neil Diamond. So my schedule wouldn't allow me to do it then, and then they offered to me in 2005, so I'm upstairs in my rehearsal room getting ready for the show and working to the, because you're playing to a 2-hour movie is what you're playing to when we do big screen. And
This is Elvis the concert.
Elvis the concert.
Elvis the concert.
Elvis the concert. And so you're basically playing nonstop. If anything goes wrong, I mean, if you get off track, I'm not hearing the band on stage at all. I'm playing with the band. But anyway, my daughter comes in from college. She walks upstairs and she sees the video that Stig sent me. Stig Edgren sent me to rehearse to, and she just was like stunned. She just went, "He's gorgeous." Looking at the '73 special, right? The Hawaii special.
How many deceased men do you know that could fill Wembley Theater, Wembley Auditorium,
That's right.
and the O2 Arena?
That's right.
Yeah, that's
He filled it.
incredible.
Terry Blackwood, Paul Leim, they're here, and the Elvis 90th birthday bash is Monday, 3rd and Lindsley, 7 o'clock is showtime. Donna Presley is hosting. Who's the lead vocalist?
Dennis Jail.
Dennis Jail from Vienna, Austria.
Dennis Jail, we've worked with for 20 years. Actually, the TCB guys have worked with him longer than that. The original TCB guys have worked with him longer than that, probably 24 years. JB and Ronnie and Jerry and Glenn. But he has his own TV show. He's quite the personality in Vienna. And that's the other thing. You know what we really ought to do with Nashville? We ought to have sister cities, because Nashville is the music city of America. Vienna is the music city of all of Europe.
Yeah.
Why don't we get a sister city thing going here? Anyway, so Dennis Jail, great entertainer, great guy. We'll start. This is the beginning of our European tour every year now. We go from here to Germany and then to Austria for the TCB tour in Europe. It's always fun.
Terry, as we go to Suspicious Minds, what's the backstory on why it fades and then comes back up at the end? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's all just Elvis, the way he interpreted the song. He just went on and on.
Do you know a backstory
with
on it, Charlie?
I don't, but it's fooled many a DJ. in the
Boy,
day.
has it ever.
Well, it was just Elvis's concept of how he wanted to do the song, I think.
Yeah.
What is it, about a 5-minute song? 6-minute song?
And it's got the fade, and it's a board fade. It's just a board fade, and then they bring it back up.
Yeah, they just said, hey, I'm not done yet. I want to sing some more.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
So, Terry, Paul, run this lineup, the set list, if you will. Actually, Paul brought a set list.
I love that. That's great.
And
Well, you know,
get
whenever
you guys
after we do a show, if there's a set list sitting on the front of the stage, everybody wants to reach up and grab the set list. So I thought, well, I'll bring a set list.
That's nice.
But there's a pre-show montage and Elvis music playing as people arrive. Then Jillian Cardarelli, a longtime friend of the show here,
Yeah.
is going to perform, right?
Absolutely, Jillian is just wonderful. She's great. She did a song called "If I Could Speak with Elvis, I Could Talk with Elvis."
Yeah.
If I could talk with Elvis, and she's performed that. It was the #1 requested on the CMT when she put it out. It was the #1 requested spin there, I guess you'd call it. And she's just a marvelous singer and entertainer and a lovely lady. Just fantastic.
And then at 8 o'clock, the TCB band kicks things off
Yep.
with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
and that's where you get to do your
We'll
thing.
go into it. We're going to rock the house. I hope the ceiling doesn't fall in. But it's going to be great. And Tracy Todd, who's was at CMT for many years.
And she was here before that. We were colleagues 30 years ago when I first got here.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
She is helping us. She did the pre-production for the montage in the front. She found all these Elvis pictures that I've never seen before. The whole beginning thing. So if you're going to come, please get tickets. Please be with us and be there at 6 o'clock if you can. So there's a whole pre-show role that we have going on that's pretty amazing.
I need to know if you encourage outfits. Do we want people to come in Elvis attire, Or
Oh, they will be. Some of them will
Okay.
be.
Oh, yeah.
That's always the thing. It's like, how do I dress for something like this?
Wear
Because
whatever you want to wear.
if you've got the fringe, if you've got the rhinestones, this is the time to bring them out.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd love to have you, by the way. You're invited, so just let us know if you can
You
make
could
it.
pull off Scylla for sure.
Well, you've got a great
yeah.
Elvis suit. You
I
were
do.
Elvis
I do.
for Halloween
Yeah,
one
this
year.
is- this
so.
is
Elvis.
I
You
do.
don't have a
Yeah.
wig, do you?
Oh, he does.
Sadly, yeah.
Sure does. He had it on backwards.
It's not pretty, Terry. It's
I
not pretty.
had to help him get it on straight. but-
I do admit I wear it around the house and put a show on, but just for me and the dog. So
Elvis at 90, his birthday bash hosted by Donna Presley. What's the relation there, Donna?
She is, oh my gosh.
She
First
is
cousin?
Elvis's first cousin.
First cousin.
First
okay.
Her
cousin.
mother and
Vernon's-
Elvis's mother were sisters, I
So
believe.
Gladys,
Vernon's
Elvis's
sister.
mom.
She's
Vernon's
Vernon's
sister.
sister's daughter.
Vernon's sister's daughter.
okay.
Okay.
She's,
And she's a beautiful lady, by the way.
oh, she is delightful.
And this is Monday, January 6th, this coming Monday. Elvis's birthday would have been the 8th on Wednesday.
Yeah, we were here last year, and last year we were able to do it on Monday the 8th. So we kind of started this tradition of doing it right on his birthday,
Yeah.
and then on a Monday, and then this year it ended up being on the 6th. So anyway, we're happy to be there.
7 o'clock, 3rd in Lindsley is the venue. So, Terry, let's go back. I grew up with a show. My daddy was a Baptist preacher, and every Sunday morning started with Gospel Jubilee. Jubilee, Jubilee.
You're invited to a happy jubilee. Jubilee.
And that's where I was introduced to the music of the Blackwood Brothers as a part of
right.
that show, and the Florida
right.
Boys, and the Prophets, and on and on.
Oh,
the list
my
goes.
goodness.
So, Doyle, your daddy was a co-founder of the Blackwood Brothers.
Yes, my father, Doyle Blackwood, started the Blackwood Brothers along with his younger brother James and his older brother Roy. Roy was born in 1900. My daddy was born in 1911, and James was born in 1919.
Where did the Blackwoods come from? Where were they?
Choctaw County, Mississippi.
Okay.
There's a really kind of a neat story about that. Roy, by the time James was born, his youngest brother, Roy had gotten married and had a son named R.W., and that was the original Blackwood Brothers Quartet. Roy, the oldest brother, my father Doyle, and then James, the youngest brother, and Roy's son R.W. was in the group. So there were four men in the original quartet, and my daddy used to introduce the group, saying, "We are probably the only group you will ever see that's comprised of three brothers, two uncles, two nephews, a father, and a son."
Oh, wow.
And the Holy Ghost.
and the Holy Ghost.
Throw that in for good measure.
But you were never in the Blackwood Brothers. It was
Oh,
always
no,
for
no.
you, the
I
Imperials
was
from
too
the
young.
beginning.
I was too young.
Yeah.
I was just a kid.
We grew
But
up
those
with that.
those men just made such a huge impact. They were poor, dirt poor.
Yeah.
I mean, they were sharecroppers down in Mississippi. And they grew up just singing around locally until they got a radio broadcast in Kosciuszko. And from there, it was all over the world.
What did they think about you with Elvis in 1969?
Probably the baby on stage. When I saw him, he looked like I was going, he's as young as I am.
Well, I looked young. By the way, when I would get through with the Elvis show, and I would walk through the casino back to my little humble apartment, I got stopped several times. They wanted to see my ID to make sure I was old enough to be in the casino.
Really?
So give me a backstory on the Wonder of You, and that's where we'll close as we
really
get ready.
quickly. We would be, when we do Wonder of You, Joe Gersio's, they're conducting, of course, the orchestra, God rest his soul. And every time we'd get to the whoa, 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 he'd look at me and start, we got a 32-piece orchestra on stage, right? And he's conducting them, but he would look over at me and start conducting me. Here I am,
You might forget it.
like I might forget it. Here I am playing the drums, he's conducting me to go, whoa, 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 whoa. And then he would laugh so hard, tears were coming down his face. And I'm sitting there just laughing, and we're just having this moment that was just, so every time we play or I hear this song, I see Joe Gersio's standing right there, conducting me for the sing-along part. And
Paul Leim, Terry Blackwood,
Yeah.
Coffee, Country, and Cody, Elvis's 90th birthday bash with the TCB band. It kicks off with Jillian Cardarelli, 6 o'clock doors. Jillian goes on at 7 o'clock. TCB band will roll at 8. Donna Presley hosts, and it's Monday, 7 o'clock, 3rd in Lindsley. Fellas, Happy New Year. Thanks for coming to see us.
New Year.
Thank you.
Have a great show.
Thank you.
Well, what you working on?
All right, so Parker McCollum and Miranda Lambert, they have a duet together.
Do they ever?
It's so good. This is the interesting thing. Parker said, not only is Miranda my duet partner, but I really consider her one of my friends. You know why? Because she calls me on my BS. Apparently, he was really chomping at the bit. Of course, he's from Texas, so is she. And she said, you know what? You just need to slow down. You got what it takes to get there, but don't try to do it all today. He said, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Probably still do. He said, you know, I can get caught up and sometimes lose my sense of patience. And I love that I have a friend like Miranda who's there to just tell me, you got to keep your head on straight.
I'm thinking one of them said to the other one, we have to cut this
We
or
have
George
to cut
Strait is
this.
going to.
It's so good, right? It is just so good.
Yeah.
It's on Miranda's album, Postcards from Texas. If you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. Speaking of George, he's now said he has his favorite song that he's ever recorded. He's told everybody what it was. You know, he's had 60 number ones and just a multitude of songs that he could pick from.
And who knew it was a Kelly Sutton duet?
Who knew?
Who knew?
His favorite song was Amarillo by Morning when he performed it at Green Hall in 2016. He looked through me.
That's the impression you gave us.
I literally...
As if the
this
two
was-
of you fell in love at that moment.
Truly. Well, I was always in love with George Strait, but that was when I knew it was real. That came out in 1982. He loves a lot of his songs, but he said that particular moment was one of his absolute favorites.
A lot of full-grown cowboys in love with George Strait. Let me tell you.
Rightfully so.